DJs gotta put the promotional use only on the tapes because we don't want to end up in jail.
A lot of cats in the game got like a payola type system.
Because you gotta look at the whole picture, you know what I'm saying? We gotta manufacture, so it's more or less a donation.
Step up your artwork and stick with slim cases, bricks.
In a trunk, see how belly I keep it. 95 Ford Explorer, 228,000 miles. You wanna beat me, outwork me, homie. You I got a tape in the street every motherfucking week. You wanna break an artist, come see me. You wanna get your record played and get it popping, come see me. Kid Big Mike, Connecticut, you got this in the smash, alright? Yeah. Promotional use only.
Mixtapes, I think, are dope, man. I just think that they're being oversaturated. I think that they're being there's a whole lot of exposure on them. You know what I'm saying? The RIAA is all over. You know, people selling illegal mixtapes, man, and it's become, you know, it was a marketing tool for record companies at one point in time, and it's becoming very argumentative. You know what I'm saying? DJ go out and put a mixtape, put an artist on their mixtape that another label has a clearance problem with, or they got another legal litigation or something going on with that company. That mixtape is now evidence, man, exhibit A, you know what I mean? So you gotta be careful, mixtape DJs, of what you put yourself into, because even though you wanna express your creativity on this mixtape and you got the dope idea, you still gotta do your homework, man, to make sure that there's no legal situation with those records that you're putting on that mixtape, because if there is, you just opened the door and stepped into the courtroom.
And I think that everybody, especially the IRAA, needs to relax. I mean, you know, everybody gotta get paid. I think that's the only problem. Like, once we figure out how to get artists and the label their dough, it'll work out for everybody involved.
It's an extremely important tool for labels. Mixtapes are, and I respect DJs, and I know it's getting funny out there with RIAA, but you know. I write letters of intent as much as possible, you know, with the advice of my legal department, you know, for promotional use only. You know, look, I don't know nothing, but all I know is that one of the reasons I'm employed here is to provide DJs with our new material. So for me to do that, but then take it back or stop you from doing what you gotta do with it, is ridiculous. You know, so that's what the RIA is doing. I would seriously advise them to focus their time and attention on some of the other things that are, you know, affecting the music industry, the current state of the industry right now. You know, such as, you know, real album bootleg. You know, these artists wouldn't be hosting shit and wouldn't be doing drops for these DJs if they cared about the mixtape problem. You know, it's crazy. It's if you're gonna do that, then go attack BET, go attack MTV, go attack these radio stations. That's impossible. So why would you, you know, try to conquer the little man, the person that is really, you know, helping these artists and not hurting them?
So we throwing them in the streets, but at the same time, the police, everybody is going to the mixtape stores and they taking the CDs away from the stores. The stores is crying, ain't no money because they getting confiscated. So that's about the only bullshit in the game right now is people mistaking mixtapes with bootlegs.
Police have seized thousands of counterfeit CDs and DVDs from a storage facility in Upper Manhattan. Police say about 40,000 DVDs were seized from an American self-storage facility on West 141st. 9 people were arrested in the raid.
Some of the street merchants would buy 30, 40 CDs and sell it on the street. They knew to come here to purchase the DVDs.
Promotional use only, promotional only, baby. But we talking about 500,000 with the bootleggers out there, no?
A lot of bootlegging going on.
They rubber dub all day. A lot of
bootlegging, a lot of downloading, but it's good because the strongest will survive.
Tony Touch, women.
Shout out to my man Phil right here, OG right here in the game.
After 10 to 15,000, I stop counting. And, you know what I mean, I let my bootlegging people do their thing. Big shout out to the bootleggers. You know, y'all definitely holding it down like that. I see you out there, and you know, I appreciate it. It's all love, and you know how we get down.
That's how I knew I was about to go somewhere. Bootleggers actually took my mixtape. Once the bootleggers are bootlegging you, that means something.
For promotional use only.
mixtapes creates this urban, underground legitimacy about the music. If it could pass the mixtape test, you could turn around and put it on. You pretty much guarantee you could sell for an independent person 100,000, 200,000 units, to a big label 500,000 to 1 million units. But when it became a retail commodity, you had people that didn't understand it, and they complained, and the RIA came down on us, and they came and they raided me. That was the first time they raided me. I think it was in '97. The second time they raided us, that was somebody from Interscope, and we were known for getting the stuff early all the time. You know, we would have our connection with the label people, and you know, everybody would say, "Oh, Phil, you know, the mixtape, they don't really bother with the mixtapes, you know." It's just that they go after the bootleg, and the bootleg, that's what they go after and all this. So all of the labels were telling me, Phil, don't worry, everything's cool. So somebody from Interscope, mind you, Interscope, the label that was so lucky to sign 50 Cent, he positioned himself through the mixtapes, and then you have somebody from Interscope come to my establishment, see that we're selling the Lloyd Banks early, goes back, reports, make a big fuss about us, and oh yeah, and by the way, they sell mixtapes. So they turn around and they get the IRA to come in and investigate us. So they come in with a search warrant. They arrest my moms. My mother happens to be at the business at the time, and hold her 20-something hours. They charge the Harlem Music Club, my mother, with the charge of failure to disclose the origin of a sound recording. Now mind you, the artists themselves, the DJs, you know, they come in hosted by Lloyd Banks, hosted by this guy. So now they want to stop this. They feel it's a problem. Why come after the retailer? They took out of my store like 15,000 mixed CDs. It was a felony because they found over 1,000 pieces in my store. And I'm saying, this is a lot of independent stuff that you got here. This is not 15,000 mixed CDs. We're not bootlegging nothing. We beat the felony charge. The jury went back and deliberated and came back guilty on the misdemeanor because the DA, out of the whole 15,000 mixed CDs they supposedly took out my store, they only presented 4 to the jury. Because out of the whole 15,000 mixes that were out there, none of those mixes they could say was a bootleg or pirated. But they were trying to group it. They were trying to be slick about it. They were saying, let's just present these 4 and say the 15,000, that's what he was doing with the whole 15,000. They were saying my mother was guilty because we didn't put where that music was coming from. One of the things that I tell my employees always, we don't carry DJs that don't have websites. We don't carry DJs that they don't put their name, their stamp of approval on that work. So one of my overzealous employees allowed some of these pieces to come in. But I believe in the DJs that create their own parody. They take the music and they make it their own by mixing and scratching and blending and even talking over it. They make it their own. They create their own brand. And that's what I represent.